Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you've got that PPL ground exam looming over your head right now, just take a deep breath. We're skipping all the fluff today and diving straight into a rapid-fire review of runway lighting and obstacle rules. The goal? Pass this test and get you right back into the cockpit. Let's get to it. So let's test your knowledge right out of the gate. Do you know the exact height and en route obstacle absolutely must be lit? Think about it for a second. If you're hesitating even a little bit, hey, don't sweat it. By the end of this explainer, that number is going to be permanently etched into your brain. We're setting a highly focused exam prep tone today. No distractions, just the critical numbers, the specific colors, and the hard rules that examiners literally love to test you on.
All right, let's start with visual approach aids. First up, the APPI, or Abbreviated Precision Approach Path Indicator. It's your standard, simple, low-intensity approach system, and it uses a two-light setup. Now, contrast that with the standard PAPI, the Precision Approach Path Indicator. That one is a four-light system. It's also a simple low-intensity setup, but you'll typically find the full PAPI installed at government and military aerodromes. Quick pro tip for your exam though, remember that while these are standard layouts, differences absolutely exist outside the UK. Oh, and never look for real-world distances in those textbook drawings. They are literally never drawn to scale, ever.
Moving right along, let's talk about instrument runways. Here we have a Cat 1 system, which is basically a typical approach and runway lighting setup used for Category 1 operations. As you transition from visual flying to instrument flying, these lighting systems naturally step up in complexity, to guide you safely down to the tarmac. While visual aids like the PAPI are all about your glide path, a Cat 1 system is completely focused on giving you those immediate visual cues you desperately need when you're breaking out of the clouds right at your minimums.
Now, when you're asked to identify a Cat I system on the exam, you need to scan the question for two absolutely crucial keywords: the takeoff starter extension and stopway lighting. Seriously, burn those two elements into your memory right now. If a test question is describing a typical Cat I setup, it's almost certainly going to mention these specific lighting features located at the ends of the runway setup.
And let's see how this builds into even more complex setups. Cat 2 and Cat 3 systems are advanced approach and runway lighting configurations specifically designed for incredibly low visibility operations. Basically, they build heavily on the foundational shape of that Cat I system we just talked about, but they pack in way more lights. We're talking centerline lights, touchdown zone lights, the whole shebang. For your PPL level, don't worry, you don't need to know how to wire the system yourself. You just need to recognize that Cat 2 and 3 simply mean more lights for much worse weather.
Okay, shifting gears away from the runway and out into the surrounding airspace. You see this giant number right here? 15. Specifically, a 15-kilometer radius. The rule dictates that all objects located within a 15-kilometer radius of an aerodrome that are considered hazards, whether to aircraft in flight or just maneuvering on the ground, well, they are normally lit at night. So 15 kilometers is your magic number for aerodrome hazard assessment. Lock that one away for multiple choice day.
Let's break down the specific aerodrome obstacle rules, chunk by chunk. The magic height divider to remember here is 45 meters. For obstacles less than 45 meters tall, they get a single red light right at the top center. Simple. But if the obstacle is greater than 45 meters, it requires multiple red lights. Furthermore, if these obstacles are insufficiently conspicuous by day, say it's a dull gray hangar blending perfectly into an overcast sky, they've got to be marked in contrasting colors. You'll usually see this as a red or orange and white checkerboard or striped pattern. Because let's be real, nothing says "please don't fly into me" quite like a giant orange and white checkerboard, right? And that brings us to the next massive exam anchor, 150. Specifically, 150 meters above ground level, or AGL. This is the absolute threshold where en route obstacles absolutely must be lit. If a tower, a mast, or really any structure sticks up more than 150 meters into the sky away from an aerodrome, it is legally required to have lighting. No exceptions. It's a non-negotiable hard limit.
But come on, aviation regulations just wouldn't be complete without a slightly confusing gray area, would they? For en route obstacles sitting between 91.4 meters and 152.4 meters, so roughly 300 to 500 feet AGL, the rule states they may or may not be lit. It's actually optional based on specific aeronautical surveys. Why is the mandatory cutoff over 150 meters? Well, probably because suddenly encountering an unlit 500-foot radio tower is a surefire way to ruin a peaceful night cross-country flight. Seriously, folks, always check your NOTAMs and charts because that 400-foot mast might just be hiding out there in the dark.
So, what do these en route lights actually look like? Let's walk through the specific rules. Normally, at night, en route obstacles are lit by steady red lights. During the day, they'll sometimes use high-intensity, flashing white lights. But wait, here's the tricky exception the exam loves to throw at you: complex obstacles. In certain circumstances, complex obstacles might display high-intensity, flashing white lights by night as well as by day. Make absolutely sure you understand the difference between the standard steady red at night versus that high-intensity strobe effect used around the clock for massive, complex structures.
All right, we've covered the approach lights, the aerodrome radius, and the specific heights and colors for en route obstacles. So, are you ready to crush your ground exam? I honestly think you are. Knowing these specific numbers, the 15 kilometers, the 45 meters, the 150 meters, and understanding the key difference between PAPI and APAPI is exactly what it takes to ace this section of the test. You've got the structure, you've got the data, now you just need to get in there and execute.
If you found this breakdown helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more ground school explainers. Seriously, hit that button unless you'd just rather keep paying your flight instructor their hourly rate to draw these exact same diagrams on a messy whiteboard. Next time you look out at the horizon during a night flight, ask yourself, do you truly know what hazards are lurking in the dark spots between those beacons? Study hard, trust your training, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.